Oh my god, did I work? Are we okay? Did we do it?
There's a delay.
Oh yeah, there's a hell of a delay. Is the volume all good though? That's the question. Whoa.
Let's keep an eye on chat.
Yeah, chat will let us know. How's everyone doing?
There it is. I finally see it.
Good, man. How are you?
Oh my god. I'm like, I'm gonna need an energy drink, and then I opened it and put it down, and then never touched it.
Dude, I chose the wrong day for this. I stopped drinking energy drinks. I want water and Dr. Pepper. Like, and you're son of a monster teasing me.
I know. I'm sorry. You know, the trick is you can put water in your energy drink can.
That is the worst. That is honestly the worst thing I've ever heard, dude. I've never heard
really
that.
well.
That scares
Anyways, okay. So I don't even have the questions up right now.
Yeah.
Let me get those. This is gonna cover up the webcams really fast, but YOLO. All right. I think I can see. Yes. Cool. Do you?
Nice cropping. No, I'm just figuring out the
you're just a little
stream.
You're just a little kid.
Which way?
baby Michael.
Anyways, I'm not making short jokes. I promise I'll lay off this time.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Okay, so should we go through our questions or just go through all the questions that are here? Because there's actually quite a bit of questions.
Yeah,
quite a few. I mean, I guess the best place to start is there's one which kind of when he said it, I was like, oh shit, yeah, there's like lots of little stories here. But how do we all meet? I mean, I came across Jeremy just because I was sucking really bad at Unreal Engine, and I was trying to find tutorials for Unreal Engine, and your stream came up, and it's like, oh, this is kind of good VODs. Okay, I'll watch this for a bit. And I was like, like this is from a stream. I should watch this. I watched the stream. And I'm like, oh, this is an actual person. This is great. And yeah, one thing led to another. I like followed all the links down the rabbit hole, Twitter and Discord, and I found out there's this little hub of industry people. I'm like, I can steal information from these people. And I guess from my side, the rest is history. At that point, spent too much time in here.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, for me, it was when I was just finished with school and just looking through YouTube because Substance Designer was still quite new back then, and then I came across a YouTube video from you about making some cobblestones. So then I checked out the stream and from there on into the Discord, and now we're here. So yeah.
Very cool.
What about you, Mike?
Actually,
was it Twitch?
Yeah, because being self-taught, I was just trying to like look for all of the information I could. So I liked watching 3D streamers as well. At the time, it was you and a streamer called Sync New were like the top two at the time that were always on. So I joined the Discord, and it's really awesome. I always recommend people join the Discord now, especially with my mentorships and everything. It's always my top recommendation.
Nice. I mean, I made this server, so that I could play League of Legends with Ben Wilson.
Dude, you need to join. Dude, and legit, like you need to join us for some ARAM sometime. Like, I mean, we lose all the time, but if that's what you started the server for originally, use it for its original purpose. Go play.
I was like, I should try it, and then we never did it. And then I was like, okay, I need to get better at like just working on my personal art. And what better excuse than to have people hold me accountable for a schedule? And so then I just started streaming.
Did it start
people
StarCraft?
Were staying in the
Wasn't
chat.
StarCraft a big part of it?
So I started streaming StarCraft before Twitch. Before it was even whatever it was before, yeah. Yeah, I was streaming StarCraft 6 times a day or 6 times a week. 3 hours every morning before work.
That's cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of.
I love how all of us were like really professional with learning 3D, and yours was just like, I was playing StarCraft.
I just like socializing. You know what was funny? It was like I was playing StarCraft, but it was literally the Empire. It was DiNusty teaching how to play StarCraft.
Okay.
It was the same thing.
Teaching.
Yeah. Talking about strats and oh man.
I mean, very cool. Back then, I mean, this years ago. I think a lot of us like, it was early days, first couple of years, we sort of all met each other a little bit. Yeah, I guess you never expected to. I mean, we joked about this even before the first meetup. You've joked about DinCon for a long time, and now it's finally happening.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. I love it though. I mean, the community came up with the name, right?
Yeah, the name got tossed already, like before we hit the 2,000 member mark, which was years ago. So
what we at now?
We are at 7.7k now, so
something
a long
like
way.
that. There's people joining every day. Lots of lurkers, but that's totally fine. Whatever helps you learn. But yeah, it's dude, where the heck? I have like I made the poor choice of putting the webcam on all the webcams on the left side, and that's where all of the browsers pop up first. So
the joys of an ultra wide. All of you guys, your ultra wides. It's on the acre over there.
I'm bringing it up again. There we go. Okay, now I can get to my questions. But yeah, it's been crazy. I think that where we're at now is it's really cool because I just see people they join, they learn a lot. Some of them disappear, then they come back like a year later.
Yeah,
and then they're like, oh yeah, I just like fell off the grid and blah blah blah, and then now all of a sudden they're like amazing artists. You're like, what happened?
That's the best thing to see, to be honest. Means that they knuckled down. They just went put in the time.
I think a lot of people also, you get that first job and you need that relaxed time. You know, you land your first job, or you land any new job in general, and it's like, okay, you need like 6 months just to get used to your new surroundings.
Yeah, you disappear from socials again. Yeah. I mean, the Shogun, like one of our other points was talking about Shoguns and like what that means for the server, and I actually think it's really cool. I can't even remember where it came from. I feel like it was one of the moderate. It was a way to let people know that this person's really active in the community and they're always dropping really good knowledge and they're really helpful. And that's just kind of turned into this thing where it's like I have to figure out what to write to build into the lore stuff. The last one was Tej, which is super nice.
I enjoy them a lot. Like,
you like those?
Every time I see every time the new Shoguns come out, I'm like, I just, there's a lot of personality to it all, and there's like an identity to the Empire. I mean, we say the Empire like we always laugh a little bit, but it's like it has taken up its own personality at this point, which is really cool. I'm actually so when Paul asked a good question, he's like asking what your highlight was for the past 5 years. I guess it's aimed at all of us, but like for you personally, Jeremy, like best bit of the past 5 years for all of this Empire stuff.
Oh man, I think it's the meetup that happened in January.
Yeah,
hands down.
That was because I think Martin, you're the only one that wasn't there, right? From this call.
Wasn't there. No.
Because like I've talked with Kim and he wants to do another one, and it's just a matter of like when is that possible, right?
Yeah.
Of course, right now, very bad time. It's not not a good time to do it, but
and we find a bigger venue.
Yeah. Yeah, I anticipate the next one will be much larger.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think what's really funny, Alex, is I remember doing your portfolio review, your first one, and then you were just continuously working on stuff. I remember you were building like that little basement area with the guns on the table, and I was like, oh, it's great. He's using someone else's work, so he doesn't have to worry about building guns.
Yeah.
And they just build into the scene. And then you started talking to me, you're like, hey, do you want to make like a podcast? Or are you planning on making a podcast? Because I was thinking about making a podcast. And that's how GDD happened. And that's wholly yours, right? But we just kind of like folded into
we literally did one episode. I did one episode of GDD with Ben Wilson, and then straight away you're like, dude, we've been planning, like, I know we've spoken about this before, and I know you kind of pulled the trigger, but like, should we do this? And I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So it's like straight away, one episode I had to complete, like, put all the branding out and that, and make it kind of like sync up and match up. And it's like that was it was literally one episode. I think it was good because it's like you're busy, you're one of the biggest guys I know, you're doing all these different things, the streams and portfolio reviews and your personal art and all that on top of a full-time job. It's like I think you got asked a few times for you to do the podcast, but I'm guessing time was just it wasn't enough hours in the day for you to do it originally.
Yeah, there was a page where I was building a list of people too, and the first one was Ben, because I'd actually interviewed Ben in the closet of the stream when it used to be in a closet.
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember that? We drank an entire bottle of wine and we were trapped in a closet that was like
that was
4 or 5 meters squared. It was so hot, and we were in there for 3 hours.
Jesus. Well, what about you, Martin? Like, you've been like you've been community manager of this for as long as I've been in here. So, like, what about you from your point of view? What's been your highlight?
For me personally, it's been the Cyberpunk challenge. Like that was my little baby, kind of, with together with Cam from Experience Points.
Yeah.
That collab was like the amount of engagement from the community that came out of that was insane. Like when we launched it on the date, like our station blew up with amount of blog posts of everyone that was entering the
dude, it was amazing.
It was so good to see.
Yeah, that was really good. I remember Kem was talking to me about it at the event, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I get home back to Sweden, and you're like, hey, so we're gonna do the thing, and I'm like, is that what Kim was talking about? I was so lost.
Yeah, like we were organizing that stuff already since December.
Yeah.
Past year, so, and the meetup was in January. So
the best bit was crazy. As well is I was working at our station at the time of that challenge, and now like, Alex, what's this thing? What's happened to blogs? Our station blogs. I'm like, we're in a daily stand up. I'm like, what do you mean? I'll check. Because I didn't see it. And I go to blogs. There's just nothing but a Cyberpunk image, and I'm like, oh, damn! This really took over.
Walls of posts.
So good. It is so good to see.
Man, I think the winner was even in chat earlier. Jason. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's complimenting your shirt. He's like always with a cool shirt.
You can thank Martin for this one. I asked, I was like, can you have a floral shirt or you can have a bowling shirt? And he chose floral. So you got some flowers today.
Every time it's a Hawaiian shirt. Every time.
Oh man,
I have a collection of like really garish flamingo ones. But I'll save them for a special day.
That sounds like great for the next meetup.
Yes, that's the plan.
Yeah. I'll get you on stage. I'll get you on stage and everything. Give you a mic and just be like, "Let's go," and then you can start rapping Eminem.
Yeah. Oh, don't bring back the memories, dude. Dude, that was honestly like. I mean, I like to go out, from like rugby background, but it's like that was one of the best nights I've had, like just out with people, like not just like the fact that we're all game devs and we're all got similar interests. Like that was just such good fun. Even if like the first venue was super cramped, like it felt like the after parties are like when you go to conferences.
Yeah,
and it's like it just felt great. Like, and everyone in there were like great people, great game devs. That was a real good night. I'm looking. It's so frustrating to keep thinking next one, and
soon.
Yeah. Like we were playing it already, and it would happen, and then suddenly like the stuff started flying, like coming over from China, and then we're like, oh, GTC is gonna get cancelled. Should we still
I'll hold my hands up. I was so wrong. Like leading up to GTC, so me, Mike, and Hannah were gonna go together. And it's like, all the way to the last day, I was like, nah, it'll be fine. And then you guys were asking, like, oh, when do you think, like, because they cancelled GDC, and you guys are like, oh, when do you think it's going to be sorted? And I'm like, by like June, July, we'll be able to do this. And it got to like June, it was like, oh, you were so wrong. I'm like, yeah, I underestimated this.
Oh, man.
That's how I met you, Mike, at that meetup.
Yeah. I was going to say that because that ties into the last question. And the meetup was actually at the perfect time, going off the back of the COVID stuff. Like it was right before that.
It's January, mid-January.
Yeah. And at that time, Alex and I were working together. I got to meet a bunch of people because I work remote. A bunch of people that I've worked with, but like never met in person in the UK, which was really awesome. Yeah, the meetup was great for that. I also had an interview that weekend, and I met you at the airport on the way back from my interview.
Oh
So-
my god, I forgot. I forgot about that. Do you remember I was really sick?
Yeah, me too. I think good thing it was pre-COVID that we were really sick. So like, fingers.
Dude, it
crossed
was
that,
bad. It
yeah,
came back with a vengeance, and then I was out for like a whole week.
Okay,
God, I remember that.
days, but yeah. That we stayed at Alex's that night. Then we went to the meetup. Everyone drank a lot. We crashed, and then the next morning, with everyone dead, we drove back to
Birmingham.
to Alex's. Yeah,
No, we drove back to Birmingham to do some
see
shopping.
you.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Whilst we were still dead, you stayed in Nottingham. Yeah, that was a crazy weekend. I ended up staying at my friend's house in Birmingham the next night, and I just crashed. I just slept on their sofa the whole time. Yeah, that was a crazy time, crazy night as well. Never gonna forget Alex rapping Eminem. We still got that video.
Yeah, there's a
That's
video.
There's, you know what? There's a lot of videos from that night, and I've still got actually, dude. I've still got like, if I just dig these out, all the stickers we got from like our station stickers and badges. I've still got tons of like from that, and everyone sticking stickers to my shirt. I don't know why that fucking started that night. That was really weird. I just took my shirt off at McDonald's, and then like put it down. The whole back was nothing but stickers, and I'm like, huh. Okay, I don't remember any of that for sure.
So we have a few. It wasn't you? I'm pretty sure it was you.
It wasn't me.
It was you and Kim. Just kept sticking them on people. So we have a few questions left that we listed out, but we've got a ton of questions from you guys in chat, actually.
Just 2 seconds. I saw in chat people saying "turn me up." Is this better?
Yeah, are you good now?
Right?
There's quite a delay, so it might time.
Yeah.
Parkour.
We'll move on and we'll see if it's okay.
Let's see here. Okay, so yeah, we've got a decent amount of questions. We can just go.
Yeah.
So I'll read the question, and then I'll answer it, and then we can just go down the row.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so how do you grow community engagement on your posts across social media, especially Twitter and ArtStation? And I mean, what I do is I just post it everywhere, like just post it everywhere. I used to think about what time to post it at, but then I was just like straight up, just post it. If you've got like a big art drop, like say like I finished Division 2, right, and then let's say I've got 4 or 5 posts to put one up a week. That way, like the huge dump doesn't blind people to your work. You can just post over time. But that's kind of what I would suggest.
Yeah, getting people to interact with your work before you actually drop it is also a good way, like to get people invested into the work itself as well.
Yeah.
So
little teasers as well.
people have seen it before. Yeah, people have like given feedback on it, and like they've already interacted with the work more than the first time they have seen it. So they've seen the progress as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's how you'll get also a lot more engagement on your work. And then dropping it everywhere when you're finished.
Yeah, I'd say it
also
depends what you're trying to do and what the aim of it is. Like if you're looking to just grow your following, your brand, yeah, getting very comfortable. Like a lot of my mentees, like they're super uncomfortable, and I'm like, okay, like here's like 8 Discords to drop your work in. Like here's some Facebook groups, Twitter, Instagram stories. And it's always kind of like, yeah, but that's like a lot of places to post. I'm like, if it's art, like it's just your art you're sharing, and like no one is gonna turn their nose up at looking at some good art. Like that's kind of, we have this weird thing where if I share it, people are gonna think it's super like cringy or something like that. It's like no, it's just artwork, and that's all that anyone sees.
Yeah.
Something that's very interesting, like for recent posts I did, like I was looking to grow, and like I'm focusing a bit more on Twitter and social media and growing a podcast, and I shared a lot of my whips on Twitter, like for a recent piece, like lots of zebra scoops. And although like the end post probably didn't benefit from it because everyone's seen most of it already, it was very interesting actually getting engagement of people, like post it and see people who just like seeing scoops and stuff like that. I think people really enjoys social media, enjoys seeing that kind of stuff. If you're trying to grow like that engagement side of things.
Yeah, how about you, Mike?
Same as you guys. Post as wherever you can. I'd recommend avoiding like you don't want to spam. And you don't want to like PM it to everyone in your contacts either. Just post it on all the social media platforms. It's on your account. A good thing I've seen people doing is some people have multiple hobbies as well as their 3D. So they'll usually like keep their photography to something like Instagram and use Twitter for their 3D and push people to their Instagram if they're interested in photography or anything like that. So, but yeah, share it anywhere. The best thing you can do is share. And we have the best platforms for it now. Like been the best time to kind of grow a brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that like before we jump on the next question, it's always saying young artists lack the confidence when it comes to posting their work.
Yeah,
and it's like you really have to just put it out there. And like you see portfolios that don't see the light of day until they graduate, and it's like, dude, that was all that time could have been you building who you are up, and people starting to remember who you are and your work. And everyone's got work that they're not proud of, and then they've also got work that they're super proud of. It, and the work that you're really proud of will slowly become the work that you're not proud of, because you'll just keep getting better. So just it's better to be out there and people are seeing it, and you're just becoming what they want you what you want to be, and then they see it and they remember you. So the next question, this one's kind of difficult to answer. How would you improve the recruitment process for both parties, for the applicant, the person in charge of recruitment / interviewing? And what can we applicants do to make it easier for a company? For example, standard formatting of CVs across the industry. Oh man, I think you want to. It sounds like Alex has got something to drop. Like really
there's one thing that upsets me a lot when it's everyone I've spoken to who have like mentor or anything like that. Just make all your information accessible. Like the amount of times where like they're sending a CV which doesn't link to anything. Their ArtStation, like they might have it. Their blogs, their blog posts, are like all their stuff they've done. Say for example, they've written like XP articles, and it's buried underneath 6 or 7 art posts or art blogs. It's kind of like make it all there on the front page where it's never a click away, because when people who are recruited, like you imagine, like Sony Santa Monica, they're gonna have literally hundreds of applicants per position, loads. They haven't got time to dig through. They don't know the information's there to dig for. And B, it's like you kind of need to serve out all the information up on a platter for people. Like when you're applying, if I come to your portfolio and it's like, oh, like there's a bunch of articles and a bunch of like podcasts or your artwork and tutorials and just you talking in general, I think it's a very good indicator that you're active and it's stuff for me to dig into. Whereas if I just come to a portfolio of just artwork, you could have done a load of cool stuff which I don't see because it's buried somewhere. Like make everything accessible to your recruiter and the art manager, whoever it is looking at your portfolio. Just make it all there for them. And you'd be amazed how often, and I say that sounds super obvious, there's people who don't have their CV on their attached to their ArtStation, or they don't have their work experience on their ArtStation. It sounds obvious, but like a lot of people don't do it.
I bet my CV's not on my ArtStation.
Oh no.
I bet it's not.
Me look bad here, Jeremy.
Yeah, I think you need a CV.
the thing with the this, I don't mean this to sound like a dig, but the worst thing on ArtStation is custom portfolio themes.
Yes.
Every time I get a ArtStation URL where the names are flipped so that you can see their custom layout, I go in and manually switch it because I need to see it in the standardized format that I always look at. It's much easier to digest.
I think the standardized format is also really important. I can't speak about any studios in particular, but a lot of like to get through the sheer amount of people applying, studios often use like automated things to like read the thing just to grab all the keywords. That's a huge thing. So making sure that all the keywords are there, everything that they're looking for is there, and standardize it. That'll make it easier.
Mm. Yeah,
You,
I don't know what you would do on the other end, like the recruiter side.
Yeah, I can't speak to that.
no, that's what I would say. I'd say like agency recruiters need to be better. Like, I mean, I know every single one of you guys would have had people apply, reach out to you and be like, "Hey, Jeremy, I see you do 3D art. So, do you want to be our lead character artist?" And it's like, dude, I'm an environment artist. Yeah. Like, hey, Mike, you're I can see you've done prop work. Do you want to, I don't know, build the next AI system for whatever? And it's like, on the in-house recruiters are great. In studios, the recruiters in a studio are fantastic, and I've never had anything but positive experiences with them. Agency recruiters need to be better, and they've misled a lot of students. I've seen like people, horror stories you see, and I've been on the receiving end of it, and even as both a student and as a professional, just be better. Like, understand the industry you're trying to reach out to. Don't build that bad reputation, which some of them might have done, by reaching out to environment artists for like character positions, or reaching out to character artists to make like, I don't know, the next hard surface something or other. Like, that happens all the time. Like, that's something that needs to improve on the other end of things, because it's easy for us, like, we see it and we just kind of laugh and don't really, you politely respond, no thank you. But to students, like, it's very misleading and it's very confusing, and you don't know where you stand. And it's like, this industry is already complicated enough as it is. We don't need that to add more confusion to the situation.
Do you guys have anything else?
Yeah. There's a question similar to this in the Discord chat. It says, junior and entry positions are ever so scarce in the industry. Is the best way to break in is it to know someone inside a studio?
I'd say
what
yes.
Do you guys think?
Yeah. It helps a lot.
Would you guys say that platforms like DiNusty would help with that? Like, if you're sharing your work, wherever you're sharing your work on any social media, like we're talking about before, more visibility you get, that helps, because artists see it, they share it amongst their friends. A few of those people will be working at studios. You might not even know that person, but they could just like your work. So that just helps a lot.
Yeah, when you're in a community as well, and you're always talking to them, right? Like, they exactly. Get a feel for, like, probably the best example is if your art isn't good enough for the position, but it's quite close, and the people that work there, and they know your kind of work ethic and like how you've grown and the rate you've grown, it's easier for them to see the potential, and they might actually just take the risk and hire you anyways.
Yeah, it's like, these communities are great to build relationships with industry people without like having it being networking, like just casual relationships. And people like to work with people they like, so they'd recommend people to jobs if the position is open and they get the opportunity to.
Yeah.
So they might just put you forward then in that kind of position.
We should hop on to the next question.
Oh yeah, sorry.
There's like no. I mean, these are all really good answers. We'll just be here for 3 hours. It's gonna be great. You guys know where to go, right?
Yeah.
Do you need to specialize as a junior artist for your first job, or should you be more of a generalist? If the answer is specialist, should you remove all of your work from your art station, or have different folders that say for character work, environment work?
I don't like the folder system.
You don't like the folder system?
I don't like it.
Not a fan.
It's difficult. If you're going into AAA, specializing helps. If you're indie and you're trying to find a small studio to join, showing like broad flexibility helps.
Yeah. I think specialized also, like, I think there's like layers to what you mean by specialized as well. So you say like, oh yeah, should you specialize between character and environment art? Okay, yeah, probably should. I'd say it is good.
Yeah, those are pretty broad.
But if that's specialized within an environment artist, no, like, you should, as a general rule of thumb, and there's obviously every studio is different and every studio does things differently. There's some key things. You should know how to model. You should know how to texture 1-to-1. You should probably know how to make a tileable if you're asked to make one. You should probably know an engine. Add composition. Like, there are broad rule of thumbs that you should probably know. But I would say specializing it's a risky play, because it's like, say for example, material art. For me, you could go all in on material art and be super good at it, but now I've just reduced my job opportunities by 80% because I've put myself in this category. So I'd say break it in, be general in your field.
Yeah, there's also a huge risk, like you're saying, if you specialize, because the industry changes so fast. If you specialize in one thing and then a couple of years later that one thing is automated away, you kind of just screwed yourself over a bit. And then it ties into a question. I answered it in the chat. Someone asked, what are the key things studios are looking for in artists? I said it's the ability to learn and add value to the team. The more you know about more things, the more value you add as a whole across, even if you're not a specialist in each of those things. And I think that makes you more hireable as well because you're flexible. And when I've been in hiring positions, I've always looked like that, looked for that in people.
I think they should also, when they say what is to that question, look to what the studio wants. Certain studios want certain types of people and certain types of artists. I think that's something that's like been the biggest thing for the past like couple of years is actually understanding the needs of the studio. Every studio has needs in their team, and you need to fit the gap in what they require. The more aware I've become of that, the more understanding I feel like I have of the industry. And that you can't force a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah. There's been a few people I've talked to in DiNusty where they're like, I just want to do this one thing. And that's great. We do need specialists in the industry, so I'm not trying to dissuade anyone like that. Like if you want to be a character artist, that is a very specialized thing. You're going to have to be the best you can be. So maybe that also raises the barrier to entry for if you're going for a specialist role. Like you need to be really high up as best of the best. Whereas if you're more flexible and you show keenness to learn multiple things, and you have that flexibility I'm talking about, then the studio can hire you and train you in multiple directions where they need you. And I think that also adds value. I think there's a saying, a master of what is it? Damn it! I'll come back to it. It's gone from my head right
I
as
love
I'm about
it.
to say it.
I can see how uncomfortable you were as you were saying that. I can see he's like, "Come on, what was it?"
Master of all is better than the master of no. The master of one is better than the master of all, but oftentimes better than the master of none. I believe. It's like
like the jack of all trades.
Yeah.
I love it. The commitment to getting that out, Mike.
Yeah, my brain just went dead there. Sorry, guys. I need another coffee.
I saw it just like pull away.
Deer in headlights.
Yeah. Energy gone.
Yeah. How has your outlook on game development changed over the last 5 years? That can kind of be construed into a bunch of different things.
You got to tackle that one first, Jeremy.
Oh man. I mean, I think 5 years ago I was just becoming a senior again because I went down to mid-level when I came to Sweden. But I think then I was looking more specialized into how I did stuff, specifically to my job. But now, like 5 years later, I look at myself not as so much an artist, but more of a developer. Like I'm making choices that lower the artistic quality in order to maintain it's like I'm bringing up gameplay more at the cost of the art going down a little bit. And it's like trying to strike that balance. That's the stuff I think about these days. My outlook on game development, it hasn't really, I mean, I just like making games, man. I think I just want to keep doing that and helping people that want to understand certain aspects of it. Man, it gets really broad because there's a bunch of stuff we could dive into with that one.
Yeah, I think something I've found recent. I mean, for me with game development, again, like I said earlier, me understanding both my place in the industry and how the industry works a little bit more has made everything far less anxiety inducing. Like there's a point where not knowing what was wrong or what I needed to do to improve or where I needed to go was incredibly stressful, and brought a lot of like kind of negativity into my life. Whereas like now, I kind of understand the needs of what studios need and skill sets required and where I need to grow. And also like being really comfortable and just not. You mentioned that gun thing for that safe house project. That moment was a very big moment for me in my personal, like my art development and game development. Is that being very comfortable, not doing everything and not having all the answers, or being really proficient at everything, because there's just not enough hours in the day to learn it. So just accepting that fact and being like, okay, cool. Like I'm never gonna be super proficient, amazing weapons artist. Cool. Like that's not me. I think finding what you are and being okay with that, and it's good to have an understanding of other things, understand different software, or understand different pipelines. You don't have to be amazing at them, but understanding them is something that's become far more important to me over the past few years.
Yeah. You have anything, Mike or Martin, on that?
No,
Games in general, like how you look at game development?
not really.
I think
Like-
oh, sorry, you go.
Like the amount of tools needed for game development changed a lot, though. Like compared to how it was before, but that didn't mean that it changed what you really needed, like the principles, like need a 3D package, an engine, and a texture package or whatever. Like that stayed the same, but the amount of packages that you needed to learn did increase by a lot. Like the diversity of packages and the specialized packages like Marvelous and Speed 3 and whatever. So students need to learn a lot more compared to before, I think.
Mhm.
But there are also more resources out there, so
Yeah.
I guess it
A lot
balances out
more,
in that
like,
way.
Dude, when I was in
exponentially
school,
more.
there wasn't any learning videos about game art on YouTube.
Dude, we had DVDs, E3D,
Yeah,
the
dude.
same concrete
Yeah.
pillar everywhere. I remember, I think it was Sean Dog shared on Twitter the E3D DVD cover. I was like, oh my god, I remember that.
Or
We
the
bought it at
3D
the studio.
manuals, the whole books.
Yeah,
of-
Oh
dude,
my
the
god.
thick, yeah. Books. What
Which
are
was
books?
on a stone tablet, Jeremy.
all the Photoshop texture artists like an Endu and Didu came along. Blown.
Yeah.
Didu was huge.
Oh man.
I put that quote in the Discord, by the way. The questions, I finally found it. I had to Google it. My brain went dead. But yeah, I think I've noticed a lot change over the last 5 years. I think Jeremy's dying. Oh no, I'm watching the stream. It's still behind. Oh shit.
Oh my god. Yeah, go ahead.
I think because I started as a specialist, like materials and props. Then I went environment. Then I led for a bit. Now I'm a technical artist. So it's been a kind of a crazy all over the place. And I think with each job that I've worked has completely changed and given me much more visibility to different areas of the industry, like management as a lead, specializing in seeing how you can push a specific tool in a specific pipeline when I was specializing more. And now as a tech artist, it's like understanding the whole kind of technical pipeline and seeing how to make to one automate, but two make like the artists and just general game dev like cycle much better and more accessible and achievable. So it's been a very interesting 5 years. I think, yeah, knowing like you guys and being part of DiNusty has helped a ton with that. So,
Oh man, the next question: will there be DiNusty merch at some point? I need a Mario plushie.
We need Mario plushies. We all need them. So yes, there will be merch. Mario plushies, we don't know yet, but
Yeah,
merch for sure.
Merch is coming. I just
It's coming.
I need to have time to do it. Maybe I'll force someone else to do it.
Delegate.
Yeah, delegate that jazz. But yeah, I've tested out a few places, and I never like the merch that like the quality of it. It's just on the edge of like not good enough. And it's okay, but it's like I don't feel comfortable with it being that quality.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of toying around with the idea of like doing like limited releases where essentially you come up with all the designs, we show it on the server, we gauge the interest in it, and we open up the gates for ordering them. And then I hear Madu's playing with the toy in the background. And then it's a squeaky toy. And then once we have all that engagement, then I go to the company, they print it, I check all of the quality on like the first couple prints, and then I mail it out, and I just deal with mailing out. It's not as bad if it's a batch that I send.
Rather than an ongoing supply you have to
then ongoing, and I can guarantee that the quality is better, because the stuff here is awesome. Like I was looking at mugs and stuff, and it's so much better than what I find online. But I don't know, is there anything that you guys want merch wise?
Dude, there's one thing I've always wanted, is that you have like I think the guys made you like that, the DI glowy lamp thing you have in the background.
I want to.
I've wanted it so much.
Fix it. It almost killed me.
It almost killed you.
I need to fix it. I plugged into the wall and sparks went so bright that I thought the room lit on fire. Like it looked like lightning. And it was just the plug-in. I think the box is fine, but like I plugged it in, and it's like a plastic cup with like the two prongs. Plug that in, and it like shot open. Like I don't even know where the other half of it went. Like
oh Jesus.
Good sign.
It was a good sign.
Sounds like an assassination attempt.
Yeah. The Empire's getting too big. No. An assassination attempt. The sign's fine though. I just need to replace the plugin.
Well, that's all that matters. As long as the sign's fine.
Yeah.
Jeremy's well-being isn't so important.
I saw someone saying an Alex bobblehead. So yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. In a Hawaiian shirt.
Yes. Love it.
Basically, people to sculpt it.
Oh shit!
My god!
Yeah,
dude, that's amazing.
That should have happened. That should have happened.
You just imagine the Amazon reviews on that, Alex, where it's just like they get the bobblehead and they're like, I thought this was a bobblehead. The head's just regular size. Why isn't it bigger?
Wow! Jesus. Okay. Well. Who asked that, by the way? I need names. Who asked that?
The snitch. Come on now.
Yeah, snitches get stitches, man. Let's see what other questions we got in here.
I like that.
I mean, we are over now, but we'll get through these questions on the voted list, and then we'll call it good. How would you deal with the constant feeling of not being up to date with your skills, because tools change fast and there's so many ways to reach your goal? Yikes.
Get used to it. Just get used to that. Just get comfortable in that feeling. You are literally never ever going to be finished.
You're chasing the carrot for sure.
Well, you're actually the one which helped me get over that shit, because that's something I struggled with. I was like, oh, it's so much to learn. Or no, I was super arrogant. I was like, yeah, I think I know how to model on texture. And I joined your stream, and I'm like, this guy is like a senior and massive, and he
doesn't know how to extrude
stuff. Well, you were teaching yourself stuff, and I was like, oh, like he's nowhere near done, and he's a senior and massive, and I'm a guy who kind of get in the industry yet. Oh shit, okay, my perspective is completely warped here. And if it's because you're comfortable with it, like I'm always gonna be learning. It's the nature of the industry, and once you're comfortable with that, I think it's a lot easier to go forward. But I know your stream helped me with that. I remember that specific issue.
You're like triggered.
Yeah, PTSD.
Do you have anything that you want to say, Mike or Martin? Like on chasing the carrot.
I think the people that are best at that are the people that are just passionate about learning new things. Because that way you kind of always end up staying up purely because you're passionate about learning whatever the next thing is around the corner. And I think that's a good mindset to try and adopt. Last year when I was a generalist working at Black Matter, that really helped a lot. Just I could move on to any kind of area of game art, and there was so much to learn and so many cool people at that studio to learn from that I I did enjoy that side of it. Yeah, that's all I got.
Fine. Yeah, I on this. Yeah, everything has been set up.
Cool. Okay. Oh man, not a serious question, but feel free to skip. If you weren't a 3D artist, what job would you do? Mike's face.
I'll just be working in a data center. It's not even interesting.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing.
You're like, I'm going into banking. So. Like,
no.
I was thinking about recruiter.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I have seriously thought about it. Like sometimes when I was in a dip, that sometimes I was like searching, like, how do I become a recruiter and stuff. So yeah, I think that would be the thing that I would go for.
I mean, I kind of feel like that would be a really interesting channel to go through as well. Like if you're, say you go to senior, but then you really want to just kind of step off of the gas, but you still want to be involved in the industry.
Yeah.
Becoming a recruiter, man, all that knowledge you have, you're going to be able to find the best around and you'll be able to see through someone's portfolio immediately. And you won't be wasting other people's time that you're contacting as well. That's really interesting. I would probably be a barista. I'd make people coffee. I'm not even kidding. I'd do it.
Yeah,
if you see me freak out,
meetup, see if it's any good.
Yeah. I mean, I still need to learn that. I got to learn that part.
Okay.
Oh man.
I think I'd either still be playing rugby or a teacher. I in my second year of college, because our college lecturer just disappeared, like left the country. I don't know what happened to him. There was no one to teach the first years, so I taught the first years like 3D, and it was actually quite fulfilling. Like I enjoyed the teaching, and I did like some other teaching gigs around the Midlands, and it was very enjoyable. So I think if I wasn't in the games industry, I'd either still be playing sport professionally or teaching.
Yeah, it's teaching sounds super fun. But what would you teach though?
Yeah.
Like,
I'd teach game art, I think. Yeah, it'd be either game art or I genuinely considered politics.
Yeah.
Man. Reforming education, because I really hate the education system in the UK. Like, me and my wife, like we've bought a house here, and it's like we were sheep to the slaughter to the wolves because we had no idea. We had no idea how finances worked, how mortgage works, tax, and I'm like, I feel like I should have been taught this at school.
Yeah, they don't teach that
in maths
either.
So I'm like, if I did consider that very, very seriously at one point, get into politics and like lobbying for school reform, but that's a rabbit hole I'm glad I didn't go down.
You got the mustache for it, so you're good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Alex the Anchorman, telling me about the weather.
He wants pictures of Spider-Man.
I'm a fucking bobblehead. I was the Spider-Man references. I like, Mike. I know where you live, bro. Remember this?
Actually,
man, that's amazing.
I moved here. I live in Nottingham. I probably shouldn't say, but I live in Nottingham now, and that's because of the meetup. Because I was like, I had such a good time in Nottingham. Last year, I was like, okay, my rent is up. I need to move. Okay, I'm gonna go live in Nottingham. It's nice. So I like just moved on a whim. It was great. I don't regret it.
You're just like, where's the party at, man? Where'd the party go?
Exactly.
Like, I thought it was party all the time. Oh man.
Yeah, should we go on the next question?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the next question is just that much better. How do you get such a sick beard, Martin?
Just let it grow. Just don't care. Care what anyone says. Just let it grow. That's all.
Is that what it takes?
Cool.
And jeans, maybe.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I don't think I have a chance. If I let it grow, you'd just be like, dude, fix that, man. What's happening?
Fix that.
Here's some feedback. Go shave your face. Like,
oh no.
It's like, can I keep the eyebrows? Yeah, you can keep the eyebrows. What is this one? I don't understand this one. Have you ever held hands so long it's kind of uncomfortable, and then you laugh a bit and lock eyes and be like, bro, without uttering a word? Alex, you remember we were holding hands when we were walking back?
Yeah.
This is at the meetup, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I woke up in a bed next to you, and I'm like, cool, like whatever.
You guys are completely out of it.
That arm was
just had to guide you guys back.
That arm was so heavy.
Yeah, it is just a big slab of meat.
All right.
Oh man.
Do you ever occasionally look back at your old work and reflect on how far you've come, or do you think this could help with and do you think this could help with the artist block or art block?
Yeah, all the time actually.
I think it's really healthy to do that, because you have to remember how far you've come, you know?
Yeah. Like keep your stuff on ArtStation, like publish it but not delete it. Like always keep it up there so you can just go back to it and see how far you've come. And also, like, sometimes it's okay to look at latest on ArtStation and see how bad, how the quality bar can be. Like, you're above this. Sometimes it's okay to look at that.
I think it can really help you as well, just realize how much can change in a year. I mean, that's what's happened with me a lot. Is I look back at like I look back at like 2019, look for the art there, and I'm like, Jesus, that was a weird time. And it's like, yeah, that's 1 year from the beginning to the end, 1 year growth. And when you do that, it's like, oh yeah, like I've got, I don't know, I feel like in your early 20s, it's like, yeah, I've got like, a lot of time. And it's, if you're on the warpath now and like trying to develop and get in the industry and you're making progress, the first year, it's rough. Or even the second year, you're like, I'm still like finding my feet. By the third year, you start to see some real growth, and you're like, yeah, I've only had like, and this is like you're starting with no knowledge. Now you've got this knowledge, you know the directions he's going. That look back is like, yeah, this was only a year ago, and look how far I've come. And I mean, it gets you excited for the next year because you're like, okay, this is how big a leap I made in 1 year. Right, next year, I can't wait to see where I end up. I think it's good to look back. I think it helps frame things up better and get a healthy perspective.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, it's crazy to see how much people can improve in a year. Like we were talking about actually at the beginning of the podcast. Like they disappear for a year and they just come back, and it's like they're a completely different artist. Like they improve so much. It's crazy and really good to see. So
dang, there's so many good questions in here. What's the single best tool or program that every environment artist should learn to use?
Photoshop.
Yeah, I was gonna say Photoshop.
Yeah.
How about you, Alex? He's like GIMP.
Contrarian. You're like Paint.
MS Paint. Let's go.
I'll just say modeling package. I think it's the only thing. It's the only tool I like. Every other tool I can like. If I say ZBrush, it's like, I know studios which don't use ZBrush. Painter, I know studios which don't use Painter. It's like modeling. Like every environment artist is going to need to model at some point.
Yeah,
and you're gonna need to
definitely.
You need to learn. It also teaches you stuff like UVs and that. So like, it's a super dull answer, but like, modeling. The modeling package is the only tool I think every artist needs.
So I feel like that's like a given, right? You have to know a modeling package. Whereas that's the reason I went with Photoshop, is because like people immediately go to Substance Painter or some other texturing package, but knowing how Photoshop works expands your ability to market yourself better, your branding, everything.
Yeah,
like your whole presentation. I still do a pass. Photoshop over everything that I do. Like some tweaking with levels sometimes, some high pass, some branding on top of stuff. It's just
it's a 2D simplification of everything that comes after it, right? Like a blend mode in Photoshop, like multiply, subtract, whatever it is like the same in any other application. And then the same in shaders, and then the same in if you're making materials in Blender or in Max's material editor. They have different names like LERP or blend or mix, but they all essentially are the same thing. And like it's the perfect grounding for building up that framework.
All right, this is the last one because I gotta get out of here. And I'm sure you guys do too. What's your opinion about the balance between motivation / passion and discipline when being in the industry? Do you think you should always try your best to stay motivated when creating your artwork, or perhaps having a discipline with yourself is more important? I guess this is about pushing yourself too hard.
I mean, it's a super cliche thing about that. It's the motivation gets you started, discipline makes things get finished. Like,
Yes.
you. I think the thing which I mean, look, I'm surrounded by a bunch of guys all the time who are incredibly driven, want to be the best, want to be the best artist that they can possibly be. But another flip side to which I started thinking about a bit more, because not everyone's like that, is if you're happy at your job, and you earn what you want to earn, you feel valued and all that sort of stuff, it's cool not to feel motivated, and you don't feel motivated, because that's something I've heard quite a lot recently. Oh, like, I'm happy, but I'm seeing other people do work, and I feel like I should do work, and I feel guilty. And it's like, if you're happy, credit to you. Like, if you're perfectly happy where you are and you're happy with your ability, congratulations, you've won. Like, you can chill. You don't have to grind out work if you don't feel like it. I think that's the biggest deciding factor to that kind of mindset, the whole motivation thing. Do you want to improve? Do you want to be somewhere different? If you do, then kind of answer your own question.
Well, the thing is, discipline's a tool, whereas motivation, it's never really under your control. Like, you can have things that can get you more motivated. Let's say you see like a concept, like you said, like you see that concept, you get like a huge jolt of motivation, but then you can't finish the concept because you run out of that motivation. Discipline is the thing that will carry that through to finishing. If you just practice a little bit every day, it doesn't have to be a lot. I think it's the most cliche answer ever, because if you look at any YouTube video, anyone talking about this, they always say the same thing. But once you've built up that, once you've got that discipline down and you've built up that routine, and you can carry even small things through, that compounds over time. So when you do get the motivation to do something, you have something that helps you carry things through to fruition. I think any of us here have a million unfinished projects that we started and we just never picked up again. So yeah, just how it is.
It reminds me of something my coach used to always say. It's so much I've held on to, is it's like set principles. Like, whatever your principle is, just stick to it. And if his thing was, if you start it, finish it. And that's just something I've always tried to do, is if I don't finish a personal project, I need a very good reason for not be finishing that personal project. It's there's a principle there. I will. That's the one for me. Is I always have to learn. Every project I do, I want to learn. I'm not gonna just regurgitate stuff. I think set them sort of principles, whatever they may be for you personally. Everyone's gonna have principles, but that was something that came from the rugby days, and it kind of stuck with me through this career. It's have a reason, why am I doing this? What am I trying to learn? Knowing when cool things finished, and get out of it what I need to get out of it, and be happy with whatever the end result is. Them principles, I guess, same as discipline, but the way he phrased it, it really helped quantify discipline for me.
Yeah, I think also self-reflection is a big thing that you should always keep in mind. It's always good to take time and reflect on what you've achieved so far and what you still want to achieve, and just surround yourself with people that are also motivated helps a lot. If you're in a group that is all pushing each other down, that will not help you at all. If you're with a bunch that are all motivated to push each other, then you will get stuff done as well. I think that's very important.
Man,
I know we said that was the last question, but I kind of have one that might be good.
Yeah, go for it. Last one.
Especially with hopefully lockdown's ending soon. Yeah. Where do you guys see yourselves going from here? How do you, what is the main thing you want to learn moving forwards, I guess? Or do moving forwards? Doesn't have to be learned.
I'm going to travel more. But I think
someday.
I think it's going to be more related to doing things like visiting schools or checking out Polygon's setup and seeing how that all works and talking to students and meetups. Dude, I want to do meetups in like multiple different countries, and
sounds great.
Meetups is a big thing, yeah. And I mean, I'd still stick to remote working myself, preferably when it opens up. But meetups is something that I would like to do still on the side.
Yeah.
Man, remote work.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could go like full remote and then live wherever you want if the company allows it, right?
Yeah.
Lug around a giant laptop, you're good.
That's what one of the guys. There's a few guys that do that. They do the whole digital nomad thing.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, I want to be on a Teams call, and in the background you can hear a goat. And they're like, was that a goat? And I was like, yeah, I'm on the beach in some like.
Oh, dude, one of my colleagues, he's in a lot of Europe, Egypt at one point, and we're like, he's like, oh yeah, my internet's bad, so Egypt's a bit screwed. We're like, what, you in Egypt? He's like, yeah, just traveled here for a bit. I'm like, huh, fair play.
Nice.
All right.
Dang. Okay,
Everyone's
we should
saying
wrap.
DinCon 2022.
Yeah, I see that.
That's fun. Let's do it.
Oh man, so it's like this, but it's live instead of like just everyone meeting up and.
Yeah,
oh boy.
That'd be sick, but it would be another whole thing to tackle.
That's a whole other thing, but yeah, I'll look into it.
All right.
All right, I gotta kill this before I promise anything.
Yeah.
No, thanks guys for coming on and helping me get this all kind of organized, and yeah, it's good. It's good. We have another talk on Wednesday. Oh, actually, it's just me. It's gonna be like a normal stream. No, Wednesday I'm gonna critique my own portfolio, and then it's gonna be painful. And then I'll talk about how I got into games, because you guys have been wanting to know that forever. Yeah. Cool. All right. I'm gonna get us out of here.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll see you guys later. Peace.